I want to start with a question. How much of what you said today did you actually mean? And how much of it was just filler? Things we say to fill the silence, to seem agreeable, to avoid a feeling we didn't want to sit with. Verse 23 is about the opposite of that. It's about the kind of expression that doesn't hold back and doesn't overstay its welcome either. Here's the verse. Express yourself completely, then keep quiet. Be like the forces of nature. When it blows, there is only wind. When it rains, there is only rain. When the clouds pass, the sun shines through. If you open yourself to the Tao, you are at one with the Tao, and you can embody it completely. If you open yourself to insight, you are at one with insight, and you can use it completely. If you open yourself to loss, you are at one with loss, and you can accept it completely. Open yourself to the Tao, then trust your natural responses, and everything will fall into place. And that's verse 23. The first two lines set the whole tone for the entire thing that follows. Express yourself completely, then keep quiet. Not express yourself a little, or hedge it, or try to soften it, or even apologize for it, but completely. And not express yourself completely and then keep talking, keep explaining, keep justifying. Just keep quiet. There's something radical about that pairing. We tend to do one or the other. Either we hold back, saying half of what we feel because the whole thing feels like too much, or we say the whole thing and then we can't stop. We circle back. We over-explain. We need the other person to confirm we were right. Lao Tzu is suggesting a third way. Full expression, then silence. Complete and then done. The image he gives us is weather. When it blows, there is only wind. When it rains, there is only rains. When the cloud pass, the sun shines through. Think about what a storm actually does. It doesn't apologize for raining. It doesn't hold 10% of itself back just in case. It rains completely, and then it stops. And when it stops, there's no residual of guilt hanging in the sky. The clouds just move on. The sun comes through, and nobody remembers to be embarrassed about the storm. We're not like that. We rain, and then we carry the rain around with us for days. We have one hard conversation and replay it for an entire week. We feel one wave of grief and immediately start to manage it or minimize it, or wondering if we're allowed to still feel it. Nature doesn't manage itself that way. It simply is for as long as it needs to be. Then the verse moves somewhere I think is easy to skim past. It applies the same logic to the Tao, to insight, and to loss. Three things that don't obviously belong in the same list. If you open yourself to the Tao, you're at one with the Tao. That sounds like classic spiritual language. If you open yourself to insight, you're at one with insight. That one's a little more relatable. We've all had that moment where something clicks when you finally see how a situation actually works. And for a second, you're not thinking about insight. You just see clearly. But the third one, if you open yourself to loss, you're at one with loss, and you can accept it completely. Loss is placed right alongside the Tao and insight, not as the opposite of them, and not as the thing you're supposed to avoid or fix, but as another weather system to be fully entered. And Lao Tzu isn't saying loss is good. He's saying it's real. And the only way through it is the same way through everything else. Open completely, don't resist, let it be what it is. Most of our suffering around loss isn't the loss itself. It's the second layer, the resisting, the bargaining, the trying to feel other than the way we actually feel. We open the door just a crack instead of all the way. And the loss gets stuck halfway through, and it just sits there in the doorway for years sometimes. The verse ends simply. Open yourself to the Tao, then trust your natural responses, and everything will fall into place. Trust your natural responses, not your performed ones, not the response you think you're supposed to have, or the one that would have looked best, or the one that keeps everyone else comfortable. Your actual response, whatever that is. Maybe today that means letting yourself feel something all the way through instead of managing it. Maybe it means saying the true thing once, clearly, and then letting it rest instead of circling back to it all afternoon. Maybe it's something you've been holding half open for a long time. A loss, a disappointment, a change you didn't ask for. And today is the day you let it rain all the way through, instead of standing at the edge of it. You don't have to manage the weather. You just have to let it pass through.